Ahoy there cruisers, this week we're looking at the costs that come along with your cruise holiday.
Yeah, and we're going to give you some really good tips about how to save some cash.
Yes, so let's get on with the show.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the main costs of cruising.
Yeah.
So of course, the main cost of the cruise is going to be the cruise itself, along with any taxes, port taxes and everything that you have to pay as well. So obviously this is the first thing you need to take into consideration. And secondly, will be all of the costs to get to the cruise. So any airfare you need to book, any trains, any night before in a hotel, things like that. So any transportation costs would be the second major thing you have to take into consideration.
Also remember about port transfers as well, and think about how you're going to get from the hotel that you're staying in the night before to the port. And if you're driving down, there's also the cost of parking at the port as well.
Exactly. So I'd say the second major thing would be the gratuities on board, which you usually pay once you're on the cruise, or on some cruise liners you can actually prepay them. Obviously, if you're booking an NCL cruise now from the UK, these are all included. These can cost, on average, anywhere between about $12 and $17 per person per day.
I'd just say just include them in the cost of your cruise when you're pricing up your cruise, so that you don't get any nasty surprises further down the line.
Exactly. So if there's two of you and the gratuities are $16 per person per day, you just times $32 by how many nights you're on board. Exactly. And that's how much your costs of the gratuities will be.
Another major cost on your cruise holiday is going to be drinks on board, particularly if you do drink alcohol. You've got to think about how much the drinks are going to cost, and these vary from cruise line to cruise line dramatically, don't they?
Exactly, so take into consideration how much you're going to spend on board. So if you're a heavy drinker, the drinks package might work out better for you. Take a look at our drinks package video here. So the next cost to take into consideration would be speciality dining. On most cruises, the main dining rooms, buffet, and things like that, little snack places are all included in the price. But speciality dining can cost anything from about $5 per person all the way up to $50 per person. So if you're going to want to eat in some of the speciality dining restaurants, take all of that cost into consideration as well.
And these can range from, say, sort of snacks and cakes and speciality ice cream right up to full Michelin star meals. So there is really a wide range of speciality dining that you have to take into consideration.
Exactly.
Another major cost of your cruise is going to be shore excursions. These range really from port to port and from cruise line to cruise line. You don't have to take the shore excursions, you can just get off the ship and do your own thing.
So yeah, cruise excursions can be very pricey.
Yeah.
If you're going on a 6 or 7 hour tour, it can cost hundreds of dollars per person. So really take these into consideration. We've spent $1,000 before just on a week's cruise, just on a few excursions, so that really does add up.
And as well as shore excursions, while you're getting off the ship, you've got to think about the cost of things in the port. So this is like shopping and other activities that you may do in port.
Exactly, so you're going to want some spending money for while you're in port. So some other things that can cost extra money on a ship include spa treatments and premium areas of the ships. Some areas have a little area where just for premium guests who paid that little bit extra.
And also some cruise lines have what we really are speciality shows really. Some you get a dinner and a show included, and these cost extra.
Yeah, and on most cruise ships, room service is also extra as well. So if you want to have some food in your room, take that into consideration as well.
And talking about room service, there's also the extra tipping that you'll have to do as you go along. So we advise that you bring dollar bills for this. And this is things like room service, where we always give $1 per plate that we order. And also when you get to the port, there may be porters in the port, and we suggest $1 a bag for them as well.
Exactly, and even for things like taxis as well. So taxis you're going to take in port and when getting on the ship. Okay, so for some big money saving tips.
My favourite bit, I love to save a little bit of money.
So our first big tip would be to book a cruise in advance. When we say this, we mean when the cruise is our first release, so the cruise price is our first release. So you've got to keep a good eye on all the different cruise liners you're interested in and see when they first release itineraries, because when they are first released, you always get the best bargain.
This can be anything from a year up to 3 years before a sail date.
Exactly, so keep your eyes out. So booking early really does pay off.
And if you missed when the cruises first came out, you can also look at last minute deals. Not every cruise line has great last minute deals, but they're also very restricted on what itineraries that you can do.
So we say look about 2 to 3 months before you want to go. Obviously you are going to be restricted on itineraries and cabins and things. There won't be as many left, but you do get some really good deals. They can save you up to thousands of pounds or dollars.
So like any holiday that you book, cruising also has peak times throughout the year. These are the usual things such as Christmas, Easter, basically when the kids are off, spring break, etc, etc, etc.
Yeah, so let's give you a breakdown of when the cheapest times are to book a cruise in the different regions. In the Caribbean, we'd recommend sort of during the hurricane season. Don't worry, hopefully you're not going to run into any hurricanes, but the weather here can be a little bit more unpredictable and it can be really hot as well. So these times are usually between sort of June and November every year.
You've got to be prepared as well with that, as you might have a change of port at the last minute, but with the cost it might be a benefit.
So in Europe, the cheapest time to book a cruise for is the winter, or when repositioning cruises over to the States and things take place, so transatlantic cruises. So these can take place in sort of April, May, or October, November time.
And if you're going down under, the best time to book a cruise is January, February time. And also repositioning cruises that tend to go across the Pacific to Hawaii and then back to the US.
Okay, so for a few more tips, obviously the cheaper the cabin, the better it's going to be. So an inside cabin can work out thousands of dollars or pounds cheaper than an outside or a balcony cabin. Try going without Wi-Fi while on the ship. You can get Wi-Fi packages, which are pretty good, but they still work out so expensive. So make sure you save all your Wi-Fi time for when you're in port, where you can use free cafe Wi-Fi and free port Wi-Fi.
Exactly, just get away from it all. You don't need
Exactly, you don't even want your phone turned on anyway, do you? Just turn it all off and have a good time. Forget about the worries at home, forget about your phone and your internet and your Facebook.
Yeah.
Just leave it all behind.
No worries
about a thing.
That's what that song reminds me of.
It's gonna be alright.
Another money saving tip is just to remember to bring all your toiletries or sun creams or anything that you're going to need on board. You will be able to probably buy these on board or even import, but girl, they'll cost $1, won't they?
They will be expensive.
Yeah, so bring them on board with you and then you don't have any extra costs while you're in port.
So when you're looking to book a cruise, look around all of the cruise lines that you're interested in and try and get a package deal with things like free onboard credit, a free drinks package which can save you a fortune, literally thousands of pounds, free Wi-Fi packages, free speciality dining packages, all that sort of thing. So try and get as much value as you can from these deals.
Shore excursions can be pricey, so look at third-party operators or local tours. And if you're feeling brave, you might want to get off the ship yourself, hire a taxi or just go for a wander. But make sure that it's safe to do so and that you have plenty of time for getting back on the ship.
Yeah, and you can check the reputability. Reputable? So you can check how reputable. Is that a word? Reputable. Reputable. Reputable.
Reputable.
Reputable. Reputable.
Reputable.
Reputable.
Rectable.
Reputable.
Reputable. How trustworthy.
Yeah. So you can So you can check how trustworthy these third-party companies are by looking at sites such as TripAdvisor, just to make sure they all are legit.
Or even Cruise Critic, ask on the board.
Exactly, yeah. So ask other cruisers who they've used before, so at least you can trust them a little bit more.
Exactly.
So our next tip is to book a cruise that departs close to you. So for us, that would be Southampton, because it's the closest port to us. This can save us hundreds or thousands of pounds on airfare and sort of transportation and things like that. A lot of cruisers also offer fly cruise deals where you get your flights and your cruise in the package, but these can often work out to be much more expensive. So make sure you do check what the cost of the individual cruise is and the cheapest flights are, and see if you can get a cheaper deal.
Another little tip is to try calling the cruise line directly to see what special deals they have available. We've priced up a cruise before, haven't we, and not realised certain deals were running, and after calling them up we ended up saving a hefty sum, a couple of £100.
Yeah, because they have all the latest deals there, so it's great.
Exactly, so just give them a call just to make sure that you're getting the best price for your cruise.
Next is a tip for our solo travellers. Make sure you book onto a cruise that has solo cabins, because this can save you an absolute fortune in the double occupancy fees that you usually have to pay.
Really can, yeah.
Okay, so that's it for this week. If you have any comments, let us know in the comments below. Our Twitter handles are just below us, so make sure you subscribe to us on Twitter.
Yes, and you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/honestcruising.
And please make sure you subscribe. We've got some great videos coming up, so make sure you're kept in the loop with what we're going to be releasing next.
Yeah, until next time, folks.
Happy cruising.
Money, money, money. It's so funny. In a rich man's world. All the things I could do if I had a little money. It's a rich man's world. It's a rich man's world.
That's as far as I can go.